Happy birthday. Let's give him a clap. How about we do something radical and we all sing happy birthday? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mama. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Now bring your roof down. Hip hip. Hooray! The world is a pretty dark place at the moment, and we're seeing how ultimately will fail. We all know at the heart of all that is and that drives all that is loving compassion. Loving compassion is behind all of us, and it will ultimately win. There's always pain and always suffering, but the way of loving compassion always wins. And that is the message of His Holiness. And I was just thinking today, because when His Holiness passes, the Chinese government will miraculously discover a new incarnation. And they'll bring it out of the blue. And we'll all know it is false. And that has happened time and time again throughout history. Many people don't know in the Christian tradition, at one time there were 2 popes. There was one in Rome and one in France. 2 popes. One set up to kind of undermine the other. So history, in a sense, will repeat itself. But ultimately, loving compassion wins. We will know where the true incarnation is. We will know. And so we know our cause is right. We know the world is so much a better place because of His Holiness. He's changed my life, and I'm sure He's changed the lives of so many people here. And as I watch the children keeping the traditions, keeping those traditions alive, I think of how important that is for the whole world, how important it is. So on this really special day, I say happy birthday to His Holiness, and I say God bless Him. May my God bless Him. May our God bless Him. And may peace and happiness and may long life continue forever for him and for the Tibetan people. Amen. Thank you.
To maintain good moral conduct and lead a meaningful life by following the counsel of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. When His Holiness Dalai Lama assumed Tibet's spiritual and political leadership, the occupying Chinese Communist forces had already defeated the Tibetan army at Chamdo. Despite at the tender age of 16, His Holiness tried all possible means to peacefully coexist with the Chinese forces for 8 long years and carried out timely religious and political reforms in Tibet. Around the same time, His Holiness received monastic education from his tutor and was awarded the Geshe Parampa degree equivalent to the highest doctorate in Buddhist philosophy during the great annual festival Melam Chamo in 1959. During the festival, the Chinese government offered unusual invitation to His Holiness Dalai Lama to attend a theatrical show at the Chinese military headquarters. The root cause of Tibetan preventing His Holiness from attending the theatrical show lies in the words of Mao Zedong when he, on 24th June 1958, said, "We must make all-round preparation to counter the rebellions in the Tibetan area. It is extremely good that the revolutionaries of the Tibet are rebelling. This will create an opportunity for the laboring masses to be liberated. The Tibetans' distrust of the Chinese government's true intention behind the invite was confirmed by the event already taking place in Han and Amdo region, where most of the monasteries were destroyed before 1959. Several Tibetan lamas and leaders were forcibly arrested and killed after being caught on the pretext of meetings. As thousands of Tibetans gathered at the Numanika Palace to protect his holiness, the Chinese forces attacked the palace with mortars. 2 days later, on 17 March 1959, His Holiness was forced to escape in exile. His Holiness Dalai Lama and his entourage arrived at Shutama at 2 p.m. on 21st March 1959 and later moved to Masri on 20th April as arranged by the Indian government. On the arrival of His Holiness Dalai Lama in Shutama, India's Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru expressed respect for His Holiness in the Indian Parliament, even though Indian Prime Minister Nehru, during his meeting with His Holiness at Masri on 24th April, expressed his disinclination for the establishment of the Tibetan government in exile. His Holiness on 24th April advised a gathering of Tibetan officials who come to Masri from Colombo to discuss assignment of works related with the re-establishment of the Tibetan government in accordance with the modern Chinese. Accordingly, 4 major departments, namely Religious, International Affairs, Homes and Finance, and Office of Tibet in Delhi were established. Thus, an administrative foundation was built to carry the Tibetan struggle and look after the welfare of the Tibetans in exile. In the initial years, His Holiness Dalai Lama directed his efforts in compiling documents to let the world know the truth about the destruction of Tibet's culture, religion, and national identity by the Chinese government. Consistent efforts were made to answer questions from the International Commission of Justice and journalists taking an interest in the issue of Tibet. Similarly, arrangements were made to
It's a great honor for me to have the opportunity to say a few words on this very auspicious occasion. I'm extremely happy that His Holiness Dalai Lama is in such a good health at 87. My mother is also 87 this year and also very healthy. I'm extremely happy. We all know His Holiness the Dalai Lama because of his great teaching and his great example for the people around the world had command tremendous deep respect, not only from Tibetans, but also from Chinese and the entire international community. The Chinese and Tibetans share a lot of good things. And Buddhism is one of the very important.
Taji Deki, wonderful to see you all today. My name is Candy Bingham, and I'm the Deputy Mayor of the Northern Beaches Council. And I'm here today on behalf of the Council to say congratulations on this extraordinary celebration, the 87th birthday of the Dalai Lama. I was fortunate to be here a couple of years ago, and so I know what an amazing event this is. And today has been better than ever. I mean, the dancing, the singing has just been wonderful. So congratulations to all our singers and dancers. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of our land and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Now, I know that the celebration of the 14th Dalai Lama's birthday is one of the most special occasions for your community. And I was reminded when the Dalai Lama was awarded the Nobel Prize. In fact, I can remember it very well in 1989. That shows how old I am. And it was noted that the Dalai Lama was a deserving recipient as the most prominent spokesman of human rights. The committee recognised his efforts in the struggle of the liberation of Tibet and the efforts for peaceful resolution instead of using violence. And obviously that's so important today as well. Now, the chairman of the Nobel Prize Committee said that the award was in part a tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. So it's wonderful to reflect back to 1989 at the Nobel Peace Prize, which is still so relevant today, and we really do acknowledge His Holiness on his birthday today. I also just want to say, on behalf of the Council, we are so lucky to have you as a community on the Northern Beaches. You can contribute so much. It's just so wonderful to have your culture, your food, and of course your wonderful people as part of our community. And it's interesting to know, which most people don't know, that this is the largest Tibetan community right here on the Northern Beaches in the whole of Australia. So we are very proud to have you as part of our community. So thank you. Oh, the other thing I want to quickly mention, I was so impressed with the newsletter. Mind you, I can't understand a word of it, but I can see by the extraordinary drawings and stories, and the fact that these young people have mastered your language and continuing those traditions is just so important. So congratulations, wonderful to be here, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
For everyone, I just wanted to say how delighted and honoured I am to have been invited here to celebrate with you this very auspicious milestone, the 87th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So thank you so much for the invitation. I would first like to pay my respects to the traditional custodians of this land we are meeting on today, and pay my respects to them. May we learn how to live in harmony with the land and with each other from them. Thank you so much to the Tibetan community of New South Wales and the executive for inviting me here today. It really is an enormous honour for me to be here with you. You are such an important voice for the Tibetans of our community here on the Northern Beaches and across the country, and also for the preservation and the promotion of Tibetan culture and knowledge across Australia and globally. I would like to also acknowledge the fellow guests here as well. Throughout his life, the Holiness the Dalai Lama has been a steadfast beacon of hope and enlightenment to the world. His words and teachings have touched millions across the world, including so many of us here in our community. His fundamental message of compassion, forgiveness and peace sits as a constant inspiration for us, and is perhaps more important than ever as we face up to the challenges of climate change. His Holiness has said, we must continually consider the oneness of humanity. We may face problems, but we must not lose hope. I truly feel that on this election day, our community stood up and chose hope. We chose a kinder, more inclusive, more truthful, and more hopeful way of being represented and of making decisions. We chose to face up to the challenge of climate change and no longer pretend it was not happening in front of our eyes. We chose a genre of politics that is less about winning the fight and more about finding a way forward through consensus building, listening and collaboration. we chose to be a constructive part of the international family and not just be an isolated island. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has been a constant lighthouse for this alternative kind of way of being and behaving. His teachings have infused our consciousness with the understanding that the choice of a more compassionate and less adversarial way does exist. This day is also a wonderful celebration of the diversity in our area. And we are so fortunate to have such a vibrant Tibetan community here on the Northern Beaches. You add such a wonderful and beautiful richness and colour to life here, so thank you. I truly hope more Tibetans can find their home here in Australia, but I also hope that in the future that it's not necessary. It is a true honour to be here celebrating His Holiness the Dalai Lama's birthday with you today. And I'm very much looking forward to sharing in your wonderful culture, including the beautiful food that you have been preparing. We have so much to learn from your culture, and I believe if we follow His Holiness's path, we can meet the challenges of our time with hope and optimism. Thank you.
Temi Yurin Gulia, Alichiki, the Veneto, the Jeletone, Charo Nanding, the Javananding, Down and Shinki, the Sunday Darangi, Pinto, Sofa, Julia number, Julia Super number, Gayam, Sofa, Software, Adine, Julia Subata, and the naked Sang, Yankee Nine number, but in the Mamanzo, Monet, the Bed, Southern, the Chibi, the Jugala, Chale, Neta Mambuchi, now you need Samaria. 甚至这是的学艺，我们上网这两个上面然后的给了上过几年，我们这几个月，现在的教不起中国中国现在搞不了，超过你我都记得，当俺这边教不起，教我家家的书配企业卡的呀，这不起的给这些有的，反正都说到是那么多，这一3个月，去年呢，很难我的月的那个后面的的。 教我们去古巴年的西南的那么着，是吧？教我们是现在嘛，就看见中国上面的那么着有的什么，或者是哪路来教我们去中国当年出来一年的，说的人家一年个，让我去当年学的，那当这个同学当初个没对，马上是给参谋好多包都两个当有的什么的呀，或者一年的，当我是开车这个木头的嘞，开车路的有的嘞，夹起了有的嘞，他不都是参谋了，像我从这个地方谈呢。 刚刚做动嘛呢，教他们去的呀，你这个他说的，过中国从这修的，现在的这个什么，老的会现在的什么的，以前的老给的对的有些，这就学的穷，对呢，你当我做培训人家当呢去谈的一年的，简单兄弟教他们去红油开车也给的呢，不然做全到这边了，俺们这都是其实得有的。 俺这里呀，可对呢，叫他们这空个呀，可这差有的什么，叫我们就不说的吧，土做吧，是吧？确定的团呢，不的，难得没得有的，超轻呢，马上就胡打八道，女生你个胡打八道，没用的，它上面是用钱多嘛的，上面几对你身上的，长个的国家的要嘛的的，所以看的钱多不多，是吧？这熊个团呢的，老中个团呢的。 야마 6개씩을 매고 있는데 예 지도와디 대배 집었다 짜는 것도 다 된대 지도 얘다 시경 지도서 말해 얘다 관련 지도서 말해 좋아 얘기 지도 지도서 말해들 얘 비디오 팀속이 개인기 줬어요 좋아 얘 시반 게임에 대전 국민이 다다 줬어요 얘 비디오 팀속이 되지를 약간 줬어요 얘기 개인직을 매는 약간씩 김제를 되는 대변이 좀 대세 겹쳤어요 얘기 힌디기에서는 야간 미지도 배도인지 제세격도 지위 만 인지신기면 인지신기 여자 인지기 포함해 예 정보 팀들이야 배도인지 제세격도 지위스 디데이가 선물 수준을 지어이나 아니 뭐냐 당에 라면 대체도 없었는데 이는 나의 강심과 강토가 강조까지 지역의 경제를 때문에 마사이는 이 시골에 있는데 그래서 좀 알지 제도 여러분 시기 까진 각세 시험을 이번에 방송 시작하는 지금까지 좀 이 나가서 많이 봐라 나가면 까진 라면이 교육이나 소수 10회 내나 사회 있는 이거 말이야 소수 10회 qabla 회계 내가 세내는데 니 되게 세상 니 되게 세배 경제는 때니 니 제를 여기를 부분은 저게 되게 시기를 삼기 쓰면 나가기야 별로지 영실이야 난니 제가 먼저 시기다 사실은 니 제비 니 제비도 먼저 통이 됐어 와 세월이 나고 뭐 제는 공부를 봐 미게 그래 그래서 말이야 후다바다 지로지 하승님에게 통해 소수의 강조보다 강토보다 세워 있나 아마 상물로 하루 보도 유거됐어 겨우집에 출진이 미치하게 돼 그래서 막 양보는 것이 아니 지기 토를 줘봐 양보는 것이 출진을 줘야지 아람도 상물로 참고쳐야 아람도 상물로 후다바다 강직이 통해 배배자들다 내년가 지도나 편히 개발 연말에서 제 띵예들이 여름을 주고 총괄이야 내게 약속이 미치하게 돼서 어딘지 주에 도주세 아니 내 인질만 못해서
to be present on such an auspicious occasion. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, elders past, present and future, and distinguished guests, particularly those who have travelled considerable distance to join us today, including Mr. Kama Singalela, the representative of the Tibetan Information Office, Mr. Kelsang Yotala, the President of the Australian Tibetan Community Association, Mr. Doreen Tenzing Umsakla, the member of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile for Australasia, of course Reverend Brill Cruz, and the Sangha. It's wonderful to see so many people here today. Our volunteer mentors, our service providers, and many people who in the early days of the Tibetan community on the northern beaches made such an impact in helping the Tibetans and advocating for services. Two of those people I've just noticed here are Jamila and his family, and also Dana Tynan, who advocated for the Tibetan mentoring program, which is still running today. So it's lovely to have people like Dana and Sol Warren, who is also a great supporter, to be present. I've been invited to say a few words this morning about young Tandon, and I'm actually speaking on behalf of Karen Collier as well, as Karen and myself were on the organising committee for the Tibetan Unity Cup and also some of other Tandon's projects. So I'll just say a few words first about Tandon and